These are the stories making the headlines at this hour. Aftershocks continue after a 7.6 magnitude earthquake struck Japan's Ishikawa prefecture at the start of the new year. At least 13 people are dead while thousands have been evacuated. South Korea has set up an emergency response team while the U.S. has promised assistance. Starting the new year, South Korea will join the UN Security Council as a non-permanent member. Seoul is expected to enhance its three-way cooperation with the U.S. and Japan to step up actions on North Korean issues. Israel says it will pull out thousands of troops from Gaza, with the U.S. seeing the move as a gradual transition to low-intensity operations. Israel says fighting will continue with a variety of methods and intensity. Good afternoon. Aftershocks continue after a 7.6 magnitude earthquake struck Japan's Ishikawa prefecture. At least 13 people are dead while thousands have been evacuated. South Korea has set up an emergency response team while the U.S. has promised assistance. Our Moon Hye-ryun has the latest.
As the dust begins to settle following a powerful earthquake that hit central Japan on Monday, authorities are surveying the damage. The 7.6 magnitude quake struck the Ishikawa prefecture at around 4:10 p.m. local time, and while lower than the 9.0 earthquake which devastated the country back in 2011, the U.S. Geological Survey said it is the biggest earthquake recorded in that region in more than 4 decades. The Japan Meteorological Agency initially issued a major tsunami warning, the first since the 2011 earthquake and tsunami, but later downgraded it to an advisory, as the quake triggered waves of just over a meter high along Japan's west coast as well as South Korea. Japanese news agency NHK reported that at least 13 people have been confirmed dead as a result of the quake, and some 40,000 households in the region have experienced power cuts. Over 97,000 people across 9 prefectures in Japan are also said to have received orders to evacuate. With an unknown number of people still buried beneath the rubble and with no official figures regarding damage yet released, Japanese Prime Minister Fumio Kishida has instructed search and rescue teams to do everything possible to save lives. Airlines have also faced disruptions, with Japan Airlines cancelling most services to the Ishikawa and Niigata regions. South Korea's Ministry of the Interior and Safety set up an emergency response team as waves of up to 67 centimeters were recorded along the eastern coast of Gangwon-do province. 6 cities in the region issued an emergency warning text message to residents, telling them to evacuate boats and get to high ground. So far, no casualties or damage have been reported in the country, but as waves could remain high due to aftershocks, people have been told to stay away from coastlines. U.S. President Joe Biden responded by promising any necessary assistance, calling Japan one of the country's close allies. With some 129 tremors being recorded following the initial quake, the JMA urged caution as there is a continued risk of earthquakes for the next 2 to 3 days. Moon Hye-ryun, Arirang News.
Starting the new year, South Korea will join the UN Security Council as a non-permanent member. Seoul is expected to enhance its three-way cooperation with the U.S. and Japan to step up actions on North Korean issues. Kim Jung-sil reports.
South Korea's term as a non-permanent member of the UN Security Council has begun. The 2-year term was announced back in June when South Korea, along with 4 other nations, was elected to serve as a non-permanent member for 2024 and 2025. The UN Security Council has 5 permanent members, which are the US, China, Russia, the UK, and France, along with 10 non-permanent members. This is the 3rd time that South Korea is serving as a UNSC member following its terms in 1996 and 2013. The Security Council is the only UN body with the authority to issue binding resolutions to member states, so it's possible South Korea could raise its voice on North Korean nuclear and missile threats. It will be given the right to vote, submit draft resolutions, and summon meetings during the months that South Korea has the Security Council presidency. This year especially, South Korea will be working alongside the US, a permanent member, and Japan, which is already serving as a non-permanent member, so three-way cooperation on North Korean issues is expected.
We will do our best to help the Security Council effectively respond to major challenges, including not only North Korean issues, but also issues in Ukraine, as well as in Israel-Palestine, that threaten the peace and security of the international community.
But challenges remain. China and Russia, as permanent members of the Security Council, have been using their vetoes to block sanctions resolutions against Pyongyang. Experts say South Korea may need to first approach with trying to address North Korean human rights violations, as it may take some time to persuade China and Russia to change their views on North Korean nuclear issues. 김정실, 아리랑 뉴스.
President Yoon addressed the nation to mark New Year's Day with an emphasis on achieving economic recovery and growth led by exports. He also addressed increasing threats from North Korea, vying for stronger nuclear deterrence in alliance with the U.S. Oh Soo-young has the details.
President Yoon pledged fresh efforts to sustain export-driven growth in 2024 and to complete a joint system with the US within 6 months to deter any nuclear or missile threat by North Korea. In his New Year's address on Monday, Yoon pledged to make the country's economic recovery sustainable and something that people can notice in their daily lives.
새해 2024년은 대한민국 재도약의 중대한 전환점이 될 것입니다. 무엇보다 글로벌 교역이 회복되면서 우리 경제 전반의 활력이 나아지고 수출 개선이 경기 회복과 성장을 주도할 것입니다.
However, the leader outlined the external global polycrisis such as stagflation and structural domestic factors that hinder sustainable growth. Pointing to the chronically low birth rate in particular, the lowest in the OECD at 0.72 children per woman as of 2023, Yoon called for fundamental solutions to tackle deep-rooted socio-economic challenges. To this end, the administration will continue its 3 major reforms, first in the labour sector, where it will encourage productivity, investment and job creation by removing illegal union practices and labour market inflexibility. Second, in education, where it will nurture innovation and global talents. And third, by increasing the fiscal soundness of national pensions. The president also pledged to spur the country's export-driven growth by ramping up tax incentives for innovative industries, continuing his economic diplomacy, and strengthening supply chains in critical minerals.
대한민국은 상대의 선의에 의존하는 불종적 평화가 아닌 힘에 의한 진정하고 항구적인 평화를 확고히 구축해 나아가고 있습니다. 튼튼한 안보로 자유로운 경제활동과 걱정 없는 일상을 뒷받침하겠습니다.
Addressing Seoul's biggest security threat, Yoon said that any nuclear threat by North Korea will be fundamentally curbed with a stronger nuclear-based South Korea-US alliance, which will complete its extended deterrence system within the first half of 2024. His Deputy National Security Advisor Kim Tae-ho said last month that the bilateral nuclear consultative group formed between the allies is expected to produce comprehensive guidelines by June on conducting nuclear responses to North Korea's provocations. The allies are also working to add nuclear response scenarios to joint military training this year, an unprecedented move in over 70 years of the alliance. The president said on Monday that the trilateral cooperation framework reached with his US and Japanese counterparts at Camp David last year will lead efforts for peace and prosperity in the Indo-Pacific, with Seoul playing a growing role in regional security, economy and culture as a global pivotal state. Oh Soo-young, Arirang News.
As South Korea's stock market opened for its first day of trading in 2024, President Yoon plans to tackle the so-called Korea discount. The president was speaking at the 2024 Securities and Derivatives Market Opening Ceremony in Seoul on Tuesday, the first time a president has attended the event. Yoon says South Korea's stock market is significantly undervalued despite having global companies. He also promised to get rid of regulations that hold securities exchanges back, including scrapping tax on financial investment and reforming to solve the short-selling system. He emphasized the market is, quote, a place of co-prosperity and a ladder of opportunity for the accumulation of national wealth, saying he will keep communicating with the public to ensure a fair system. Israel says it will pull out thousands of troops from Gaza, with the U.S. seeing the move as a gradual transition to low-intensity operations. Israel says fighting will continue with a variety of methods and intensity. Lee Seung-jae reports.
The Israeli military says it plans to pull thousands of troops out of the Gaza Strip. A statement released Monday said 5 brigades, or several thousand troops, were being taken out of Gaza for training and rest. Israel Defense Forces spokesperson Daniel Hagari did not say whether the pullback meant the armed conflict was entering a new phase. However, according to a U.S. official, Israel's decision to withdraw some of its troops from the Gaza Strip is a signal that it's beginning a gradual transition to low-intensity operations. The official, who spoke on the condition of anonymity, added that the decision to pull out troops is a reflection of the success Israel has had in its fight against Hamas. Meanwhile, the chief of the Israel Defense Forces Southern Command says the fight in Gaza will continue in a variety of methods, in a variety of intensities, and in varying forms. He says the shift in strategy will make it difficult for the enemy to pinpoint them and understand them. At the stroke of midnight marking New Year's Day, Hamas fired at least 27 rockets at the south and center of Israel. According to Israel's military, its air defense system intercepted 18 rockets, while 9 of them fell in open areas. In a video published on social media, Hamas claimed responsibility for the attack from Gaza, saying it had fired M90 rockets in response to the massacres of civilians carried out by Israel. Lee Seung-jae, Arirang News.
Meanwhile, South Korea's military troops deployed overseas have greeted the new year with ambitions to make a more peaceful world. Our defense correspondent Choi Min-jung reports.
It's the start of the year of the Blue Dragon, and South Korean soldiers stationed overseas are as mighty as ever. In celebration of the new year, soldiers have vowed to connect South Korea and the world through peace. The Army's Hanbit unit has been providing humanitarian aid to the locals in South Sudan by rebuilding social infrastructure and donating medicine.
2024년 푸른 용의 해 갑진년을 맞아 국민 여러분 모두의 행복을 기원하면서 이영만리 남수단에서 세계 평화를 위해 최선을 다하겠습니다. 국민 여러분께 격려! 충성!
The country's Cheonghae unit has been protecting South Korean ships from pirates in the waters off the coast of Somalia.
In the new year, all members of the unit will carry out their assigned duties perfectly with pride as representatives of South Korea.
The Army's Dongmyeong unit deployed to Lebanon focuses on maintaining peace in the region as part of the UN peacekeeping forces by conducting surveillance and reconnaissance activities.
우리 동명 부대는 안전이 최우선으로 보장된 가운데 부대원 모두 고도의 자긍심과 책임감을 가지고 각자 제 위치에서 제 역할을 다하고 있습니다. 국민 여러분의 기대에 어긋나지 않도록 임무 완수 무사기한하겠습니다.
In the United Arab Emirates, the South Korean Army's AK unit conducts high-level joint exercises with the UAE military.
이영만리 아랍에미리트에서
세계 평화를 위해
최선을 다하겠습니다. 새해 복 많이 받으세요.
Choi Min-jung, Arirang News.
Each year is represented by one of the 12 animals of the zodiac. The year 2024 is a year of the blue dragon, signifying abundance and peace. Our Yoon tells more.
As 2024 marks the year of the Blue Dragon, the National Folk Museum of Korea is hosting a special exhibition exploring the symbolism and ancient practices surrounding the mythical creature. Each year is represented by one of the 12 animals of the zodiac, with 2024 being represented by a dragon. Over the course of 60 years, each zodiac animal appears 5 times, each time with a different color, with 2024 being blue. Representing immense power and royalty, the dragon symbol was reserved for kings during the Joseon dynasty. In Korean mythology, the dragon is often represented as the god of water or the god of rain, in bringing good fortune. The Folk Museum's exhibition displays the profound influence the dragon has held in the past, especially for farmers. Featuring a drawing of a dragon is the farmer's flag, representing a farmer's music band. The oration for rain-making ritual was performed during droughts in the 1950s. It involved prayers for rain by honoring the dragon as a god. Wishing or hoping for something is a timeless tradition, and with 2024 approaching, people are making wishes for the upcoming new year.
Our New Year's wish is that our moving houses goes smoothly for us next year.
Looking for, a new job. It's always a struggle, but together we can stick it through and figure out, what the next step will be.
It's almost for every year we wish for our family healthy and our business to be prosper, son to be very healthy and good, behave, yes.
In the year of the Blue Dragon, it is said that the energy of a soaring dragon in the sky brings about a seamless resolution to all issues. Hopefully we'll see that happen in 2024. Yoon, Arirang News.
Most electric vehicles use lithium-ion batteries. There has been increasing demand for a more efficient way to retrieve lithium from used EV batteries. And there's now a new technology that makes the recycling process a lot more eco-friendly and cost-efficient. Yoon has a story.
More electric vehicles on the roads also means more waste batteries. Lithium-ion batteries are mostly used in EVs as they have longer battery life than nickel or other rechargeable batteries. But drawbacks, such as limited reserves and high price fluctuations, have spurred the development of technology to recycle these batteries. And now a team of Korean researchers have developed a rather simple and eco-friendly process to recover lithium from the waste lithium-ion EV batteries. Without any particular sorting, waste batteries are shredded. The small pieces of battery are heated to 1,200 degrees Celsius. The heat breaks down the pieces to almost a powder state, which is then sieved to separate the graphite from the lithium compounds. The filtered lithium compounds are then purified, which allows lithium to be recovered to be used as new battery material.
In a single process, graphite and metals from automobile batteries are separated. Compared to previous methods, the process is eco-friendly.
The existing method of recovering lithium from waste batteries required heating the materials up to 1,400 degrees Celsius, at which point graphite is oxidized into carbon dioxide. But this latest method uses the characteristic of graphite where it reaches a fine powder state at around 1,200 degrees. The goal is to separate the graphite from the lithium, which is possible in a fine powder state. And as this requires a lower heating temperature, it saves energy and energy costs. This research team has completed its patent registration for this technology and is proceeding with patent registration in the United States, China, and Europe. Yoon, Arirang News.
An explosion at a liquefied petroleum gas charging station in Pyeongchang, Gangwon province on Monday has left 5 people severely injured. According to the Gangwon Special Self-Governing Province Fire Department on Tuesday, a fire broke out after an explosion at the LPG charging station at 8:41 p.m. Monday and was extinguished in about 3 hours. Authorities deployed 117 personnel to extinguish the large fire at the explosion site. The explosion also damaged buildings and vehicles. Police and fire authorities are working to confirm the exact extent of damage and investigate the exact cause of the explosion.
Now let's take a look at the latest news in the world now. Taiwan President Tsai, in a New Year's Day speech on Monday, called for peaceful coexistence with China. However, China's Xi Jinping said that reunification with Taiwan is a historical inevitability. With only 11 days until Taiwan's presidential election, Tsai Ing-wen's last New Year's Day speech in her 8 years as president said Taiwan's only choice is to uphold democracy and protect peace, and that it wishes to have peaceful democratic dialogue for long-term stability between China and Taiwan. China's Xi Jinping, though, struck a strong tone in his New Year's Eve address, speaking of Taiwan as being part of the same family as China and claiming that the two countries will surely be reunified. In Ukraine, the cities of Lviv and Odessa were targeted by Russian drone attacks on New Year's Day. According to reports, a record 90 Shahed-type drones were launched. Ukrainian officials say that 87 drones were intercepted. However, a 15-year-old boy was killed and several people were injured by falling debris in Odessa. The attacks also caused significant damage to a museum and university buildings in Lviv, which the city's mayor described as symbolic and cynical. Monday's attack comes as Russian President Vladimir Putin vowed to intensify attacks on Ukraine following a Ukrainian strike on the South Russian city of Belgorod, which killed at least 20. Europe's longest-serving monarch, Queen Margaret II of Denmark, announced Sunday that she will abdicate on January 14th, bringing an end to exactly 52 years on the throne. She will be succeeded by her eldest son, Crown Prince Frederick. The 83-year-old Queen made a surprise announcement during her customary New Year's Eve speech, saying that she had time to reflect and come to the decision following back surgery last February. Queen Margaret became the longest-serving monarch in Europe after the death of Britain's Queen Elizabeth II in 2022, and is also the longest-sitting monarch in Denmark's history. The United Arab Emirates broke 2 Guinness World Records on Monday with its New Year's Eve show. The show in Ras Al Khaimah welcomed the new year with an 8-minute-long firework and drone display. Its drone display, featuring more than 1,000 drones, set a record for the longest straight-line drone display. And its firework display broke the record for the longest chain of aquatic floating fireworks. Kim Seong, Arirang News.
Good afternoon. We really missed the sunshine over the New Year's holiday weekend. It was cloudy all through the weekend with warmer temperatures. We are starting off the first workday of the new year on a cloudier note, with west of Gangwon-do, east of Gyeonggi-do, and Chungcheong-do provinces seeing light flurries today. If you're not much of a fan of freezing air, you will like this week's temperatures. It will continue to be milder than what it should be around this time of year for most of this week. Afternoon highs are 1 to 3 degrees higher than norms. Seoul tops out at 5 degrees, Gyeongju at 9 degrees this afternoon. There will be a mix of rain and snow tomorrow at dawn in southern parts of the country. Then central regions will receive that precipitation in the afternoon. Then there will be a brief cold snap on Thursday with an expected low of -4 degrees Celsius here in Seoul, but can't complain much about the chill, knowing we are getting close to midwinter. That's Korea for you, and here's a look at the international weather conditions.
Now, how strong was the massive earthquake that hit central Japan? It was measured at a preliminary magnitude of 7.6 and is classified as the highest level of 7 on the Japanese scale, which measures the intensity based on human perception and reaction. It's when people can't stand or move without crawling and may be thrown through the air. It was such a powerful quake that people in Tokyo, some 300 kilometers away from the epicenter, could also feel the tremors. Now, there are concerns that the possibility of aftershocks as strong as this one could hit Ishikawa and neighboring prefectures where multiple nuclear power plants are operating. That is all for today. Thanks for watching.